Photoshop is essentially a bitmap editing tool, and by that we mean it specialises in the manipulation of pixels. If I zoom in on our image, you can see the pixel bricks there that make up that photograph. I'll just zoom back out again. But in digital imagery we also have the concept of vectors. Now vectors are shapes that are drawn mathematically, and Photoshop will allow you to do that as well. We have a shape tool over here on the toolbar, and there are rectangles, rounded rectangles, ellipses, polygons, lines and custom shapes, all of which can be drawn for us using vectors. So for example, if I pick the rounded rectangle tool, you'll see up on the options bar I could change to one of the other shapes if I wanted to at this point, but there's different settings for each one of these. So with the rounded rectangle there's a value of 40 pixels, and that dictates the roundedness of the corners. If I was looking at the polygon there, that's the amount of sides that we could choose to have. If I went to the custom tool, click on this drop down, there's a whole range of different predefined shapes, and there's masses more of them in these categories down here. So I'm going to pick the rounded rectangle. I move down into the document, I get a crosshair, and I can click and drag out my rounded rectangle. It picks up my foreground colour there, that yellow colour. Now what's interesting is over in the layers panel we have these strange icons. Let's just explain what Photoshop has done here. It's used something called a vector mask, which is this icon here, and if I right click on that and disable it, you'll see that the layer has actually been completely filled with that colour. It's only the mask that's making the shape appear. We can see the outline of the shape there. Let me re-enable that by right clicking and enable vector mask. So that's what that strange icon is over there. Once we've placed that, incidentally, we could then use the four-headed arrow, the move tool, to place that somewhere else within our document. Okay, so lots of shapes to play with there. So have an experiment, and we'll play around with these a little bit more in the next movie.